Podcast coming to you live from the lab. Washington football team. It's a off-season training camp special coming to you live. CP3 and DujunneaB. I'm going to break down the free agents, the draft picks, the schedule, and more. Stay tuned. About to kick the show off like we always do on Sports OTHP, but also want to play a little video from last year that has that feeling that I want to see this team producing like this every week, week in, week out with the defense. And we're definitely going to talk about this more. So, about 5 minutes, we'll be back. Stay tuned. Sports on the Hill podcast, DC Sports without the politics. It's not just a catchphrase, it's not just a motto, it's what we do.
By CP3. By CP3.
Welcome to Sports on the Hill podcast. Hashtag DC Sports Without the Politics with Carol and Robbie on True Radio Network. Thank you, gentlemen.
CP3. Live from the lab. Many can copy us, but none can duplicate us. DJ Jules.
Philly on the move. It's Wentz. Here comes some pressure. He's in trouble. Staying on his feet, and down he goes. He tried to stay up, but Ryan Kerrigan held him and brought him down for the first sack of the season. It's a loss of 10, second and 20. Wentz looked like they're trying to set screen, and Kerrigan may have blown that play up beautifully.
Gets the run as well.
On the fake, pressure to Wentz's face, pump fakes, and then gets smoked for the sack. It's Sweat.
Live from the lab. Many can copy us, but none can duplicate
Four-man
us.
rush. Wentz bounces away, looking, and down he goes, and it makes it out of field goal range. Jonathan Allen comes through with the fifth sack today. Philadelphia leading
I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off there. Still got another 2 minutes, but you get the gist of what I was trying to say before the show started. This defense, the way it's built, should be ready to put up performances like this week in and week out. I mean, 8 sacks, hold up 157 yards of rushing and 107 yards passing. I mean, that's what I'm expecting from this defense this year. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. You know how much I love defense. DujunneaB, my brother, it's been a while. How are you doing, good sir?
Man, I'm doing good. Doing good and looking forward to the football season.
No doubt, man. I've been looking at the tape on, the draft picks as I always do. After they, get signed, we heard some good things in training camp from a lot of the draft picks. I know I heard a couple of, standout statements about the wide receiver, DujunneaB Brown, and the cornerback, St. Juice. So it's really going to be interesting the way this thing breaks down. But before we get into it, let the folks know what you've been doing because you've been grinding big time doing some things. And while you tell the folks what's going on, I'm going to go ahead and share some of these Washington football team groups so we can get some fan interaction and get some people talking about some Washington football.
Yeah, man, I've been chilling on the football, man. Took over and really have been focused on the NHRA season. Love my drag racing. Stay involved with football, though, and it's been pretty interesting to see what's been going on in Washington. And I think we're in for a really cool season, especially with the extra week and all. So just been staying on top of just doing different shows. And over at Ghostcast, have Not Bland show. That's on, in, only for Apple. But if you're an Apple user, you can download Ghostcast, pick up the show, and many others on there. It's an open forum, so it's pretty cool. Of course, the breakdown, talking about the playoffs with the basketball. Just been staying on top of that. Maybe I might decide to get back and write something soon. But right now, man, I'm just enjoying this podcasting life.
Yeah, the podcasting life is lovely. I miss writing sometimes, and I do want to, get back to writing sometimes, but it's so hard with so much stuff going on. By the time you put one article out, you got 3 other topics that came up that you're trying to keep up with those too. It's just, you might as well just do a podcast and talk about it and get it over with.
Absolutely. It usually comes out better. You miss some things, you don't want your article to be too wordy. Some people don't like those lengthy articles, so it's a tough thing. And when you really want to get in depth with it, it's just easier to talk about it.
No doubt. All right, I guess we'll go ahead and just do a quick recap of the off-season acquisitions. I'm going to do the draft picks first, even though everyone knows who they are. But we got to recap it. First round pick, and I'll just give some quick synopsis, and I'll get your tape, because we spoke about it, a couple of, few weeks back. But they've had training camp, OTAs, and we've, heard some glowing results. And I've watched tape on these guys, you're a college guy, so you probably already seen the stuff that I'm watching right now, but I'm really impressed with some of the things that I've seen from the tape of watching these guys. The first round pick was Jamin Davis, linebacker. He has amazing range. I mean, sideline to sideline, it's ridiculous how fast he moves. He has great length, and he has good instincts. He turns his head to the ball, and even when he's defending with his back to the ball, he watches the receiver. And he puts his hands up or, gets in the field of vision to prevent the player from making a play. So I think I wasn't too sure about this pick, because it's a one season wonder. But the instincts are there, the speed is there. It looks like he's the total package of what we've been missing for a long time. A linebacker that can cover tight ends and running backs.
Oh, yeah. Hasn't been done since London. So I thought there were like 3 guys. I thought he was one of 3 guys. You obviously knew Parsons was not going to be there. It almost looked like it, but, we know the Cowboys, I mean, they're dumb, but not that dumb. They're going to make the big pick, the more athletic pick, but it fits them. I don't know if Parsons fits what Washington wants to do here, but I thought JOK was one of them. Collins was my pick. Zavon Collins was my pick. I felt like between Davis and those guys, they pretty much were some of the same. I think Davis is a little bit more decisive. His speed, in and out. When you're trying to cover a fast back or a tight end out there, he's very good at that. He has a really good knack for getting out in the flats, and he has the ability to attack the football and basically put pressure on those guys to get rid of it early. And I think that's what really Washington was looking for in Davis. So I like the pick, and Lake called it. So.
That's some beautiful things. Yeah, I like I said, I wasn't too sold on him. Like I said, one season, but after watching film on him, watching his games, I'm like, okay, I can see why they took him in the first round. I totally understand that. The second round pick, Samuel Cosme, offensive tackle. They've been impressed with his strength. There's been several videos of him deadlifting crazy amounts of weight. They say that he definitely have the talent to take over, the tackle spot. I don't know too much about the tackle. I haven't got a chance to really watch tape on him. My apologies, but I know you have, so I'll get your take on Cosme after the OTAs and training camp.
I think he's a guy that can really help set the edge and be that guy that they really need. He's athletic. His footwork is pretty well out there. And I mean, he was like one of the top 7 or 8, offensive tackles out there. So I don't think they made a pick. I saw some people saying it was a reach or whatever, but I mean, he was projected to, go pretty high. And he's right in those top 7 or 8 guys that went earlier. And I think he really fits the team. And I think they, with that, the athleticism and whatnot, it's really going to help them out there in that tackle spot.
Definitely. Got to set the edge, protect the quarterback, and in the running game is vital, especially with that Antonio Gibson. I can't wait to see what he does in his second year at the running back position. We talked about him big time in our show last year, and we saw the potential. And, a turf toe injury away, he could have had a 1,000-yard season, and he already had, 700 yards for 11 touchdowns. So, I'm liking the way things are rounding out on the offensive side. We're getting to that a little bit later. First third round pick, Benjamin St. Juste, defensive back. He was already, highly touted coming out. And then after watching some tape and hearing some of the things at training camp, he has a knack for the ball. He gets a lot of pass deflections. He's lengthy. He's long. He's a physical corner that can play man, which we've always been asking why they're lining up 6 to 7 yards off of him. We need the physical corners that could, jam him at the line, throw the timing off on the route, and force turnovers and force, bad things to happen for the offense. And like I say, I'm liking the way things are rounding out. What is your take on Mr. St. Juste?
Everything that's been talked about him coming out of the camps, he really could possibly be the guy that shores up number 2 spot. You can move Fuller back to the inside where I think he's better. And I think it's more suited for that slot. But there's talk that the way he plays, the way he breaks on balls, the physicalness, he definitely could be the number 2. I think it would be, I'd try it, especially if he starts to, obviously, let's be real. There ain't no hitting going on yet. But all the things that he's done as far as the covering with the one-on-ones, I could see it. I could definitely see it. I would like to see it.
Yeah, that's some of the things I've heard. So, got William Jackson III outside, St. Juste outside, Fuller on the inside. What does that leave Moreland?
He's a guy that you could, this is about, everything is about talk and spots, right? Because we want to know who's going to start. But at the end of the day, we all know that Del Rio likes to throw a combination. There ain't nothing set in stone for him. It's whatever the offense is dictating and what pieces he can use to manipulate. So, it's not like, Moreland is out of the picture.
True. I just want to see how it's all going to work out. Because, I love defense. And, it's like they have an overabundance of talent now that There are going to be some cuts that people are going to hate, but it's gonna. I mean, you got Cam Curl, you got with Bobby McCain. I'm like, man, you got what's the kid with that Achilles safety? I'm drawing a blank right now. Damn it.
You talking
Collins.
William
Yeah,
Jackson?
Landon Collins. I'm like,
Yeah, Landon. Uh-huh.
yeah, and I thought that he was going to be a salary cap casualty, but they saying they're going to. I mean, he's what 13 million and 17 million against the cap this year, something like that.
Yeah.
And the way Cam played last year, I'm like, I can't wait to see them on the field. That's all I got to say, because it's
I
going to
mean,
be
you
some.
can use him as a hybrid. He could be linebacker. He loves playing down inside that box. He makes excellent tackles in the run game. He also has the ability to blitz. Now, he's gonna have to get home and be consistent in doing that. But so many combinations, man.
Yeah, my mind is just going to work as an ex-defensive guy. I just can't wait to see what it's all going to look like. The second, third round pick, as I spoke about previously, DujunneaB Brown, wide receiver. We've heard great things about him coming out of camp. I looked at some of the tape. He can run all the routes. I just feel that in the NFL, he's going to have to get a little bit more crisper in and out of his breaks. Some of his breaks were a little, college-like. You're going to have to be more crisp, and because you're going to have these corners trying to jump these routes. And if you're making a weak turn in or a weak hook route, that's pick six the other way if you don't go aggressively for that ball. But with his speed, McLaurin and Samuel, I'm like, and Gibson, it's going to be it's going to be like it's going to feel reminds me of the old St. Louis offense, the greatest greatest show on turf. That it's just going to be speed everywhere.
Yeah, they do have a lot of speed. It's going to make it tough, but I think it's great because you have guys that can do different things that provide value. You look at their addition. What was this guy's name? He came from Tampa. Humphreys. I like him. And it's really just going to be about can't take too much from many camps. Ain't nobody hitting, but
Yeah.
it's going to have to be. It's definitely going to have to be. He's definitely going to have to be physical. And I think they got a good wide receiver core that just not only has the ability with the speed, but you got a couple guys that are willing to go get it in traffic and make plays. That's the thing. They've connected. They've done it before in tough moments to secure some of those must-have catches.
Yeah, but definitely the wide receiver position is going to be a lot of competition with Kelvin Harmon coming back, Sims. Then you have the wide receiver they drafted, Brown. They got the 7th round pick. I'm like, this team is going to be, they can learn the playbook and stay healthy, and Fitzmagic, continues to improve the older he gets. This offense is going to be crazy along with a crazy defense. If things go according to plan under Ron Rivera, this is going to be a very interesting season with this first place schedule that we're going to break down later on. And yeah, it's definitely a tough schedule this year. 4th round pick, John Bates, tight end. He's looking to be the number 2 tight end. Logan Thomas had a breakout season last year, having all career highs, and he's looking to excel at that. It's ironic that we have another quarterback turned tight end that's playing well. But this team had Jordan Reed. He couldn't stay healthy. Then we get Logan Thomas, who's able to stay healthy and produce. So that's a beautiful thing. But you still need a secondary tight end. And John Bates, to me, looks like he can be that second guy. He reminds me a little bit of Chris Cooley, just a little bit bigger. He's solid in blocking. He has, when he gets the ball thrown to him, he has good hands. And he can, got a little wiggle to make people miss, if they're not tackling him properly. So, and get extra yards. So I think this was a solid pick also. What about you, DujunneaB?
Yeah, I like him for the blocking aspect. You're never going to have too many blocking tight ends. You want to have the success that they need to have that balance. You got to have a running game, and it'd be nice to have, a nice, solid blocking tight end that has the capability of being used in the passing game. This allow them to run a few more of those, what I like, those two tight ends, three tight end sets. Um, that really, especially when you have some guys that can be athletic and have the ability to catch. Now you create some things that you can, some multiple sets that you can do to kind of throw the defense off and create mismatches.
And you know how we love them two tight end sets, man. It's just you can just do so much out of it, man. And the more wrinkles you add to it to make the defense think, the more opportunities you get to make plays. We can talk about that all day long. The fifth round pick, Derek Forrest, the safety. I've heard some good things about him also. Physical, good range, and I believe they said he can play multiple positions also. I believe he can play some corner and some safety. So, like you said, versatility and being able to throw different packages out there with different personnel and still get the job done is one of the number one things that a defense has to do. And the fact that they're one of the problem spots for this team for a long time, ever since Sean Taylor passed away, has been safety. And like I said, now we have an overabundance of quality safeties on this team now that now we don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. Again, you've already spoken of versatility, but yep, like the physicality, and don't forget these type of players not only help round out your roster as far as having and keeping a good rotation, but some of these guys got to play special teams. So it'd be nice to see some guys and see where they put them because we know you can have good offense, good defense, but special teams, it says special for a reason because sometimes they're going to have to be special and make that special play to potentially be the deciding factor in some tough ball games.
Facts. Can't be nothing but agree with you on that one. The sixth round pick, a long snapper, Cameron Cheeseman. Had to pick him. They got rid of the long snapper, Nick Sundberg, long snapper. And, they felt like this was their guy for the sixth round pick. A lot of folks complained about it. So we could have got him, undrafted or took him in the seventh round. You're going to use the sixth round pick. But they felt they were taking the sixth round pick and want to leave it at that. What about you, DujunneaB?
I get tired of complaining about where people think somebody should be taken. If a GM values an individual, they got guys on their board. They got guys they see that may have been there that were no longer there. And wherever he was rated and wherever the staff had him rated, if that's where they felt they should take him, then good for them. I mean, there's obvious reaches, but we're talking about guys like this, and you got. I don't want to get into it, but you got armchair people that act like like they have some kind of scouting report and they know better. So I think it's a good pitch. They had value in it. They picked him there, and we'll see what happens. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a sixth round pick, right? I mean, you're counting on too many sixth round picks to be stars, but we're talking about long snapper, and it's a need. So I don't have a problem with it.
No doubt. Seventh round pick. They had three, all spent. Two of them out of three spent on defense. William Bradley King, defensive end / linebacker, and Shaka Tony, defensive end / linebacker, along with the last pick for the Washington football team. That's I can't even pronounce his last. You know how to pronounce his last name? It's spelled Milen, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
Milan?
That's what I was thinking it was. Wide receiver.
You might be right. I might be right.
Man, I don't know. We'll find out during the season. We'll find out in training camp. But the two linebackers / DNs they drafted, I'm not sure if they're going to. I know they said with Tony they're going to look at putting him at trying to convert him to linebacker. I think just because of his size. I don't know how effective he's going to be going against these big left and right tackles coming off the edge. He has good footwork. He has a good first step. He has solid hand placement and hand work. But I don't know. Both of these guys are, like, just because they're small doesn't mean they can't play. So don't get me wrong. but they're not your
Right.
prototypical DNs in a 4-3 defense. In the 3-4, yeah, I can see it. But in the 4-3, they're not your prototypical DN. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not hating on them. I'm not talking down on them. I'm just saying some football stuff that some might not
It is what it is.
exactly. And so, what do you take with these two defensive end linebackers? They're solid, like you said, special teams, but definitely, in their near future on this team if they make the team. But do you think these guys will be practice squad? Or do you think one of these guys might be able to crack the lineup?
I don't know. I think it's the same thing. I'll go with what you said. We'll see, man. Like, we'll see how they pan out, whether they can fit in somewhere. And like you said, they can crack the lineup through special teams, possibly. But I guess you just have to see if they're worth putting on your practice squad. I mean, they have so much talent, so they're gonna have to show. When you're 7th-round picks, you have to be special. It's something that has to really stand out, especially to crack the roster over some of the other guys that were picked.
Facts. So it's going to be real interesting. And then a wide receiver, Dax Maline, I'll just say that until I find out how to pronounce it right. 7th-round pick, another late pick for a wide receiver. I think they said I think was he the one in the line? He could line up in all three positions also. Not really a speedy guy, but he's a quick guy. And he runs routes very precisely. Lacking with the lack of speed. You have to do something right. If you don't have the speed to get away from folks, you got to run those routes and run them properly, run them correctly, how deep, cut at the right time, get your timing with your quarterback. And I saw all of those things in some of the film that I looked at on this kid. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I got him as a practice squad player, so that's just, my opinion. What about you, DujunneaB?
Like I said, we just gonna have to see how it all plans out. They got a lot of talent. Like I said, you 7th-round picks, man. You gotta do something special to catch the eye. Possess a skill that someone sees in you that can really contribute, because there's a lot of guys, a lot of quality talent ahead of them. So we'll see.
Definitely. All right, I finally got everything shared to most of the groups. I still share to some later on. Having some technical issues with some of these social media sites. I'm not even going to name any names. Not trying to get in trouble with nobody. You know how that is. But yeah. All right, getting back to the show. All right, the free agent acquisitions, I'm going to run these down real quick. You got, Ryan Fitzpatrick, which I'm finding out a lot of fans are not happy with the team signing Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't understand why. $10 million contract. He's been improving towards the end of his career, cutting down on the turnovers, making better decisions. But folks are upset because he's been on so many teams, and if he was that good, why isn't he starting somewhere for more than one season or two? That's all we're asking from this guy. We're just asking for a season or two, maybe. So what's the problem? He gets the ball down the field, which everybody's complaining about last year with Haskins and Alex Smith, that they didn't put the ball down the field. So now you're getting the quarterback that puts the ball down the field and has been reducing his turnovers the older he's got. And with him being on 9 different teams in so many years, that means he has experience. That means he knows how to read defenses. That means he's pretty much seen it all. So he can diagnose things in which will help your offense, because he can read things a tick quicker than somebody that's drafted that's trying to learn the NFL game and make the transition from college to NFL. So come on, people, use your brain. I just all I gotta say. What about you, DujunneaB? How'd you like the Fitzpatrick pickup?
I didn't have a problem with it. I think you look at what Ryan Fitzpatrick has done, especially in the last 2 places he's been. First of all, he was behind. There was some young cat behind. There was somebody that just possessed something that really was, more of a fit. And we already know what Fitzpatrick does. But I don't count out a Heineke at all in all of this. I think it's positive that you have a guy like Fitzpatrick here, especially with the chemistry that he's built with everyone that he's, every team that he's been there with. You saw what he did, especially in Miami, in Tampa. He's going to have those uh-oh moments like, what was that? But He's going to push the ball down the field. He has no fear of trying to fit the ball in the tight windows and allow his receivers to make a play. And that all comes with the chemistry that and the time that he spends with his guys to get on the page. I think one thing that should be commended is you look at the places he went to, they really have developed that chemistry immediately. And it says a lot about him. He understands the system, but I wouldn't pencil him in as a starter. I still think Tyler should get a full chance to prove himself. I mean, can't deny what he did last year. And they were close to putting the Super Bowl champs to bed and getting a W on that. So, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, don't get me started on that game, dude, man. There was so many calls that I actually saw somebody in the headlock. They had somebody in the headlock, one of our defensive line, and nothing got called. Don't get me started. That'll be a whole another hour long show because that right there, I was yeah. But yeah, Heineke, I definitely like what I saw. I think that he can, possibly get it done. There were some comparisons to, Kurt Warner, the way he came into the league as a journeyman and, being in the right place at the right time and, things just clicked. Not saying that he's going to be a Hall of Famer, not saying that he's going to lead the Washington football team to the Super Bowl. I'm just saying he has those intangibles that you would like to see in the quarterback, and with him doing what he did in that game, like you said, you can't count him out. And I wouldn't mind seeing him start the season, but I would rather Fitzpatrick start, see what he can do, and then if it falters, if he has, one of his bad games, throwing 2 or 3 interceptions, then put Heineken and see what he can do. That's just I would rather go with the vet and then bring in the younger guy, then go with the younger guy, have him falter, then you bring in a vet. To me, that messes with a young quarterback's psyche, especially with someone like Heineken that's bounced around. This is the first time that he's actually had a contract where he's secured for 2 years. So I would rather have the veteran go in first. But like you say, it's all going to play out in training camp. Heineken knows the offense, a little bit more than Fitzpatrick because he was studying it before and he's been under Turner before. So he has that edge. But like you say, Fitzpatrick has that experience that, he can figure offenses out pretty quickly. So it's definitely, like I say, competition. That's all we're going to see at this training camp. And I'm so upset that I cannot make it down for training camp this year.
They're really not relying on those two guys. I mean, you're not expecting either one of them to be a long-term solution unless for whatever reason, and it'd be the right reason that Heineke proves that he can be that guy. Otherwise, you're looking for them to be serviceable. That's not make the big mistake in the critical situation repeatedly, because you're gonna have those moments from Fitzpatrick. Go back and look at the tape. It's gonna happen, but he does more good than harm. And I think you could say the same for Heineken. Can't really. I mean, obviously Fitzpatrick hasn't proved that he's a franchise guy, so you can't. You're not even. I mean, there really was no expectation to begin with Heineke. So, I mean, I don't think if that guy's psyche is hurt because he starts and gets benched, then he definitely ain't your guy. You know what I mean? He might need to find something else to do.
True. Yeah, he is older than, he's been in the league, off and on for a few years. I just like symmetry. I just like, I'd rather go with the veteran than go to the younger guy so he can at least learn from the vet while he's sitting there seeing it in live game action. So I think that, to me, that helps a young quarterback to see it in person. That's what, like Adam Smith was saying about Haskins when he was here, by seeing it, just practicing it, and then going out there and doing it is one thing, but actually seeing it and seeing it work effectively gives you a better idea of what you're supposed to do when you get out there. But like you say, Heineke plays so well, so I see your point too. That's just the old school coach in me, I guess. We spoke about William Jackson III. Was rated the top corner in free agency. Doesn't have a lot of interceptions, which folks complain about, but as he said, that's because they don't throw my way because I play my position well. He has a lot of pass deflections. He's physical, another man-to-man corner, and definitely what this defense needed. He plays the run, plays the pass, and he's all over the place when he's out there. And he's no quit out there. And from what I've seen watching the tape of the Bengals, what is your take on Mr. Jackson III?
I like him. I like his physical nature. I like the way he plays. That's kind of what Jack Del Rio wants is, the days of playing with your back to the quarterback are over. So you watch the guys, they play downhill, and he's really good at that. He's gotten his share of picks and breakups, nice breakups, just by doing that. I think he has great vision, physical, what they need really.
Agreed. Like I said, I got tired of seeing the corners lining up on 3rd and 7, 8 yards off the damn wide receiver. All they got to do is hike the ball and throw it. First down every time. Like,
right.
How was that defense? What are y'all doing? It's 1st and 2nd down, y'all playing tight. And 3rd down, you want to, step off and play zone. But Del Rio, I'm definitely anxious to see how his game plan and play calling is going to change with this new toys he got all in the defense for him now.
Really kind of reminds you of Jacksonville. I mean, when he had the big players, the guys at the position, he had a solid DN up front. A guy named Calais Campbell that could get up there, deep tackle DN. Calais Campbell put pressure, and those guys were able to eat. You got a guy on the backside in your corner, being able to make plays and hold his own. They had guys that could make plays within that defense. He had versatility. I think you're seeing that right here in Washington. You got guys, they pretty much had the nucleus in the front 7. You add a guy like Davis. You get some guys that now you can have a better rotation because you have that piece that piece that you need that was missing. And they kind of filled a couple holes, added some depth. And he got some guys now that he can dial up some things now.
Definitely, it's going to be a great chess match to watch when he goes up against opposing offensive coordinators and seeing the things that he's going to do to try to throw them off with the speed and versatility and that great front 7. Yeah, those. I can't wait till they announce that they extended Jonathan Allen, because to me that's crucial to happen, and that's why I thought Landon Collins might have been, because there would be more money to get together to get the contract together for him. But he's here, so we're going to see. He's going to start the season on the PUP list, so that gives him, the team a little bit of flexibility with being able to carry another player into the final cuts or whatever. But I don't know. I'm anxious to see how this plays out from cut day with Landon Collins. I mean, that's a big.
I'm glad I'm not the dude that's got to make them cuts.
Yeah. Oh man, I know they're gonna be in there throwing stuff against the wall and everything. There might be some fights going on. Like, no, we're not cutting him. He's too good, man. He got to go, man. We got somebody younger that can do the job better for cheaper. Those are some tough decisions, man. But I can't wait to see. But remember, not too long ago, this team was cutting players that went to go to work at Wendy's that nobody wanted. Now they're going to have players getting cut that's going to get probably signed the next day. The other team, we've already seen teams taking players off the practice squad and putting them on an active list, on their active roster, which is the only way you can take a practice squad player. Now you have a team that has so much talent that they're cutting players that's getting picked up on other teams that's possibly going to start and get key playing roles on their teams. Think about that, y'all. Think about that. A lot of Washington football team fans don't realize where we came from to where we are now, and then have the nerve to complain about, what's going on. I'm like, do you not remember not too long ago how bad it was? And now there's optimism, and you have actually people outside of the DMV sports media talking about this team as, they're on the right path, and Ron Rivera has his team going in the right direction. I mean, but they still find things to complain about. We want to do that. But I think it's a beautiful thing what's going on right now. What about you, DujunneaB?
Most definitely. They are moving in the right direction. It's nice to see a lot of talent. They've been doing a really good job over the last couple of years as far as, their drafting. And now they're starting to really they had the pieces. Now they got bringing everything together now. It's nice to see that. and nice to see them have talent in a lot of key areas. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, good interesting. You know, normally it's a bad, distracting interesting. Now it's a good interesting for the right reasons. Uh, One of the next signings, Tyler Larson, center, ex-Carolina Panther. So Rivera knows him. Depth. They've already re-signed Chase Rollier to an extended contract. So never have more coin, and he can play guard also. So versatility and, you know, depth just in case injuries happen. So I think a good signing. Wasn't too costly, and, you know, like I say, adding depth to the team is never a bad thing.
Right. Yeah. Need depth and need guys that can come in, play your system, and kind of, you know, offensive line has to be a well-oiled machine. And even if you miss a part, you got to be able to plug something back, plug another part in, be able to keep the machine going and keep the rhythm going. So, yeah, you want to have a guy that understands your system, and he does that.
Yes, sir. We spoke about Adam Humphries, slot wide receiver. We spoke about the all the quality, you know, the upgrade at wide receiver position from what they were just a year ago, where Terry McLaurin had, you know, little to no help, to now they're questioning, are they going to be enough balls to go around, all the depth and talent that they have on this team, man. I'm anxious to see, because I thought Sims was making strides to, you know, solidify that slot spot. Now they bring in Humphreys and they draft Brown. It's yeah, some folks gonna be fighting for their lives out there this summer in a couple of weeks of training camp. You already spoke briefly about Humphreys. Any other things to add? You want to move on to some of the other signs?
Man, you left out Calvin Harmon and Antonio Gandy Golden. So
I was going to get into it. Let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah, those two, because I thought last year Gandy Golden was going to, you know, tear things up. Terry was going to finally have, you know, some help out there, and unfortunately injuries, you know, and I don't know what else it was, lack of production, or they didn't see what they wanted to see in practice. And then Kelvin Harmon, who was having that, you know, decent season, then got hurt, and we wanted to see what he could do. So I don't know. It's interesting because with all of this new speed they have on the field, they still need possession receivers. So Kelvin Harmon, we spoke about him highly, you know, a couple of times on the show when we've done. So it's, oh man.
You gotta have tall physical guys.
Yeah.
You know, and you gotta equal it out. It's nice to have those guys that can zip. And it'd be nice if Brown has that, you know, that type of, not saying he is Deshaun Jackson, but, you know, has that type of ability to, with his speed, to get down the field in that fashion. You know, you still got to have those guys, you know, that you can put in there that are big, tall. You know, those are the guys that are going to catch balls over the middle. Not saying that Terry and those guys can't, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you still need some height out there.
You do want those big guys going across the middle sometimes. That's why I do like Harmon, because he wasn't afraid to go across the middle. We've had some big wide receivers on this team that were afraid to go across the middle, but you 6'3", 230 pounds, but you're afraid to get hit. Like, nah, you in the wrong profession, sir. And I think I skipped over. Did I skip over Curtis Samuel? I think I did.
I think so.
Yeah, that was another huge signing. One of the top wide receiver free agents on the market, and the team locked him up quick and early in free agency. And as we were talking about giving Terry some help out there, we saw Samuel last year with Carolina and his versatility, lining up in the running back position, being able to line up at all positions on the wide receiver tree, outside, inside, X, Y. And, you know, just being an all-around menace when he had the ball in his hands. And then, like I said, you add that with Terry down the field. Now the defenses have to, you know, play more honest, no more, you know, doubling him or bracketing him. Now you have another legitimate threat on the field that's going to help, you know, stretch the field. And like I mentioned, Gibson out the backfield, McClissick out the backfield, Logan Thomas down the seam. So yeah, like I said, I'm liking the way things are. Looking on offense, I'm just hoping Scott Turner, with all these new toys, knows how to use them properly, and some of his play calling that he was a little willy nilly with last year. If he call some of those plays with the talent that they have on the field this year, I think things will definitely be better now. If he goes take it to a whole nother level and try to be Air Coryell and just try to air the ball all the time, then yeah, I'm gonna have a problem with that. But I want to see how his mixture of running pass is gonna play out with all of the new weapons in the passing game, along with Gibson. They're saying they want to get him the ball more in the passing game also. Well, what is your take on Samuels and how his acquisition feud with the draft pick of the DujunneaB Brown is going to change the whole complexion of his offense that, had the least amount of explosive plays, 25 yards or more through the air than anyone else in the NFL.
Yeah, you ever seen a receiver when they run, they look like they're climbing, and that's what he looks like. He looks like he's climbing the route, like he's really putting pressure on the corner, and he sits down on the route so well, especially on any type of inside route. It makes that how ever seen a cornerback had that momentum, they kind of take those few steps back before they get going forward because that receiver is like climbing the route. He is pushing the corner. That's what I like about Sam. He has that ability. He still has a shiftiness, but when he runs the route, he's running it that hard that it looks like he's climbing the route. And then when he sits down that corner, it's not a smooth, fluid break because he runs his route so well. That's going to be a good combination between him and Terry. And you talk about the other guys that are working their way into the mix. Whether it's a Fitzpatrick or a Heineke, I'm looking at it from a Fitzpatrick standpoint, just how well he gels, knows when to release the ball, very quick release, reads plays quickly, makes quick decisions. That's going to be a problem for defenses, especially, and we ain't even talking about utilizing a Gibson out of the backfield and throwing these types of things, your running backs into the passing game. It's going to be nice.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Training camp can't start soon enough for me. Another signing, Danny Roberts, cornerback. Good depth guy, special teams guy, physical, can play the position. I can't say that's to be an every down cornerback, but another depth signing, physical, play the run, man, corner that can, play some zone if needed. But like I said, I wouldn't, have him starting every week or anything. What about you, DujunneaB?
Yeah, just some help, help you out a little bit, give you some depth, competent guy.
And also David Mayo, another he's a linebacker, another depth signing. I think they had him on the weak side linebacker, but he can play strong also. We had mentioned that they had Davis, the rookie, lined up at Mike linebacker for most of training camp. Most folks would expect him to be on the outside, but they had him at the Mike position. He can play all three positions at the linebacker also. So, good linebacker play is something that Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera pride themselves on. So, that's, I'm smiling ear to ear, man. Smiling ear to ear. What about you, DujunneaB?
Yeah, same. It's really going to be nice. These guys round out a pretty good linebacking core. It's going to be interesting to see how Del Rio uses them and what type of combination situations that they get into. A lot of versatility here.
Gotta have versatility on both sides of the ball in this new NFL. Before it was, pound the ball and good defense and shutting teams down. Now, you got to be versatile and make things happen on both sides of the ball. So you see how the rosters are changing up, and you have more hybrid players that can play safety, corner, safety linebacker, DE linebacker. So the game is changing, man. The game is changing. Last few signings, DeAndre Carter, wide receiver, kick returner, punt returner. Sammy Reyes, a tight end project. never played tight end in the league. He's played basketball, but they said he's raw, but he has the size, good footwork, and intangibles that he could round out to be a decent tight end. Charles Leno, offensive tackle, believe they acquired him. He was acquired from Chicago, supposed to be one of the better tackles in the league. And Bobby McCain, another quality safety that got released due to salary, being a salary cap casualty that's added to this secondary with depth that I've never seen before since like the heydays of Joe Gibbs with the quality safeties and corners that they had back in the day. The way this team is, on paper, because we haven't seen it on the field. But yeah, this team is loaded on the back end now, and with that front end and being what it is already, I'm seeing some good things for this defense. So out of those last few free agents, which ones you want to talk about? That are more intriguing to you?
I don't know. They all are pretty intriguing in the simple fact that I'll tell you, Leno to me is the most intriguing because I'm really focusing on the offensive line this year, and they really need that help, especially with Morgan being allowed to go somewhere else. You know, they have a good, solid group of guys. It's just a matter of finding where they're going to be good at, where they're going to benefit you the best, and going with that. But again, I know we've said that a lot, but they have versatility and something they've kept over the last couple of years, even since the man that coached before. They had versatility on that, on that line then. So it's something they've always done, but I think their talent level is a little higher now. And they have potential to be pretty solid and allow for whoever's at quarterback to have the balance needed to have success.
Definitely. Got to have a quality offensive line to get anything going on offense, running or passing the ball. And yeah, Morgan Moses, I always joke that dude was injured the first week of the season. He always had a bad knee or something. I'm like, how does this dude get injured all the time? And it's crazy. But, he's moved on. The team is getting, trying to solidify that offensive line and get things where they need to be so they can run the ball and be effective in the passing game and then get a lead and then can lean on the other team by running the ball, time of possession. And, sometimes 3 points is all you need sometimes just to put your foot on the opponent's throat, just to show them that there's no coming back. We can score whenever we want to. And then you have a defense that's going to be able to pin its ears back when they know you're passing the ball and they get pressure on the quarterback and to be able to force turnovers. I can't even get it out, man. I can't wait so much for it. It's going to be an intriguing thing to see, and I can't wait to see how it all comes together, especially with the defensive coordinator that actually knows what he's doing.
Yeah, losing Morgan, I think, was big. Team could have handled it a little better. And I'll just leave it at that. Overall, they wanted to get younger. They wanted to go in a different direction, and they did that. So, good thing they let Morgan go somewhere else. I still think he's old, reliable. He was a guy that played hurt. He played through a lot of different things to help this football team, and really was one of the staples along that line. No one ever talked about that right side of the line being too, shaky when he was there. But they've got some talent, man. They've got some guys that can get it done. They wanted to go, and they definitely wanted to go get younger. And they're going to do that. But I like the combination of guys that they have. It's going to be fun to see how they gel and, how this offense begins to hopefully can begin to be in more third and shorts than third and longs.
Yeah, definitely. That always helps out your team, your defense, definitely, because, they can stay off the field and don't be on the field all damn game because, your offense can't get first downs because it's always 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8. We've seen that for a lot of years. Say this past about 10 maybe. But hopefully we see the change in, the changing things, and hopefully they're going in the right direction. Now let's go ahead and get into the schedule. We done broke down all of the, off-season acquisitions, draft, and free agency. Now we're going to go ahead and get into this schedule. Preseason games, first preseason game. There's only 3 preseason games this year, 17 regular season games this year. I'm still shocked that the owners agreed to that because the preseason games, they get to keep all the revenue from it, and the regular season games, they have to share with the players. But it happened. I've been wrong before. It has happened. It will happen again. First game is against New England on the 12th of August at 7:30. I forgot if it was home or away. Yeah, New England. Preseason. The second game is on the 20th of August versus Cincinnati. That's an 8 o'clock game. And on the 28th is the third and final preseason game against the Ravens. That'll be at 6 o'clock. Going into the regular season, I break it down 4, 4, 4, 5, just to round out our thoughts on this tough first place schedule where they play all the division winners of all the other divisions. First matchup is against the LA Chargers at 1 o'clock on the 12th of September. Then they have the New York Giants coming to FedEx. That's a Thursday night football game. So Washington team has a primetime game, which I still don't know how I feel about that. Next week they're at Buffalo at 1 o'clock, and then they're at Atlanta 1 o'clock. Chargers, they have a nice young quarterback, quality defense. I can't wait to see how that game, goes first. We saw what week 1 was last year, what the defense did. So I can't wait to see what they're going to do week 1 coming up this year. Giants, division matchup. That's going to be very interesting on Thursday Night Football. Buffalo, I was just watching one of their games from last year, and how dynamic their offense is and how opportunistic their defense is. And then Atlanta, they're going through a rebuild. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. That's also a 1 o'clock start. DujunneaB, what about you in those first 4 games? What are you thinking about those teams? Just, off season, just, shooting the breeze.
I think it's a nice group of games there. I like the Charger game at home. It's their quarterback mobile. It'll be interesting to see how the defense matches up with a quarterback that has some wide receivers that can stretch the field, and he has a little bit of mobility himself. The Giants, I don't know why. Jones is going to have to prove something to me, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I can't take too much stock in a guy who had, more interceptions. He's an interception machine. I mean, and that has to be corrected in order for them to be respected. I understand they're getting Saquon back and all, but he's got to not turn the ball over. But, I talked about that when he was in the Senior Bowl. I'm just saying. You talk about the Bills. That's going to be a fun game because I think if you want to look at both defenses on paper, I think Washington and those two defenses are right, can be neck and neck. Again, another quarterback that's mobile. They have some wide receivers that can stretch the field. So that chess match between Washington's defense and, the Bills' offense will be fun to watch. They have some guys that can get it done. And I'll be interested to see how that chess match between those two are. And it'll be a good test for Washington's offense. You got a quality defense over there, young, very versatile, speedy type defense. It'll be interesting to see, how the offense starts to roll at that point against the Bills. And Atlanta, it'll be a game that I'm going to try to be at live. I think that's definitely a game that's winnable. I'm not really sure where the Falcons are at the moment. I think they're a better team going into that one. It'll be fun, though. It's in the ATL, so it's a wonderful stadium, so it definitely will be fun. And I'm going to try to be there live. So, I think that's a winnable game. But those first 4 games are pretty fun. I think there's 3 tough ones, and the Falcons is a toss-up.
No doubt. Then you got Saints coming to town on the 10th of October, which is my mom's birthday, ironically. And that's a 1 o'clock game. The next week, have Kansas City coming to town. That's a 1 o'clock game. The week after that, they're going to Green Bay for a 1 o'clock game. And then for Halloween, they'll be at Denver for a 4:25 game. Now this stretch right here, oof. I see with the Saints, with Drew Brees retiring and either Winston or Tyler or whatever his name is, the versatile quarterback that runs, catches, throws.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're not, to me, they're not as scary without Drew Brees, but they're still a quality team. Kansas City, that game, that's going to be a hell of a game. I think that might.
That's a measuring stick.
Yeah, I think that might be candidates for one of the games of the year because both these offenses have quick, explosive players. Both have quality defenses that force turnovers and, play good defense. So that right there, I can't wait for that one. Now, I've never said that against a team. I haven't said that in a long time against a team that just recently won the Super Bowl that I can't wait to see the Washington football team line up against them. I would normally be like, yeah, that game isn't going to turn out too well. But where this team at now, yeah, I definitely can't wait for that game. And then going to Green Bay, I hope that they shut Aaron Rodgers down, force 4 interceptions, sacks him 10 times. Because
will he be there though?
This is another Deshaun Watson situation. He's under contract. He can not want to play for the team, but he's under contract. And if he doesn't play, he's going to lose money and not accrue any time towards his contract.
He's got State Farm commercials. You think he cares about money? You think he cares about money?
I don't know what he cares about. The fact that he feels like he was disrespected because they didn't consult him when they drafted another quarterback.
It's Aaron Rodgers. He's been doing this for how long? We know that this guy's been doing this. We act like we're surprised.
That's why I don't get it. I'm like, shut up and play ball. You got one Super Bowl. And you have people still in that same dynamic, he never had help. He had help. It might not have been superstar quality help, but he had help in Green Bay. He just didn't get it done. But there's this narrative.
Come on, man. That man that went to Dallas, you seen what happened. That was his coach.
Man.
Come on now. That man that went to Dallas was the same dude putting his quarterback in piss poor situation or by allowing crummy defense and then want the man to go out there and save the day every time. You can't help the man out. I mean, you think Aaron Rodgers got his shoulder and that collarbone broke because of his own self? Nah, they didn't have no protection for the man. And then he started looking like Romo, falling on that shoulder, breaking collarbones. I mean, it's not all on him.
I'm not saying it's all on him why he didn't win, but I get tired of hearing he didn't have any help on offense, and he didn't have stellar defense, but he did have some decent defenses while he was there. Not saying they were top 10, but they were decent. And he had some decent wide receivers and tight ends and running backs while he's been there. I'm not saying that he's not a good quarterback. I'm just saying all of this hype about him that he's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it.
He can't be top 5 best quarterbacks ever.
Top 5? That's strong. I could say maybe top 15. 15? I can't even give him top 10. I can't even give him
out of the 10?
I can't even give compared to, you talking about a long list of quarterbacks throughout the football. I can't put him in the top 10. I'm sorry. He'll be maybe 11 or 12, but I couldn't put him in the top 10. I would even put Cowboy Roger Staubach above him.
Okay, but
and if I could put him above him, you know how many other quarterbacks I could put above him.
You mean to tell me you can name 11 quarterbacks?
If I sit back, if I sit back, I probably could, but that's just a guess. But if I sit back and think about it, write them down, I can do that, and we'll talk about it offline. We can do another whole show on that if you want to.
Wow.
Because I think I could name 10 other quarterbacks that I would take over him.
Okay.
That's just me. Like I say, I didn't.
We might have to talk about that. whether we do a special breakdown show or whatever, we might have to talk about that.
Hey, we can talk about this thing we call the hate for Aaron Rodgers by CP3. I don't have hate for him. It's just that I get tired. We've seen so many other quarterbacks that had like I made the comparison. Tom Brady, he never really had any all-star wide receivers or tight ends on his team. He had Gronk. He had Wes Welker. He had Edelman. But when he did have a superstar, they went 16-0, but they didn't win the ultimate prize. So I mean,
see, now you saying that you making it sound like coaches don't matter though.
No, I'm just speaking as it's on the field. Okay, now if you want to throw the coaches into it, that's not. See, I knew I said something about Belichick and Brady. Yeah, I knew he was going. I kind of set myself up for that one, but yeah, you can't make. Those
McCarthy can't even sniff like Belichick.
Yeah, that's why I said I can't even make that comparison.
Schottenheimer, as far as technicality and quality coaching, I mean, we can talk about the records, but I mean, as a quality coach that motivates men, track record. Yeah. Look at him. He had Aaron Rodgers for crying out loud, and he's in Dallas.
Yeah, I've never been a Mike McCarthy fan. I don't even know how he got a job in Dallas, honestly, but I'm glad he's there because
Jerry Jones. You know how he got that
job.
Don't lie.
I mean, I know how he got it, but I mean, speaking of his track record, I don't know how he got it. But Jerry always wants the big name, so he got who he wanted.
You trying to invoke competency in Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones all in the same sentence. You know that don't work. That's like oil and water. That stuff don't work. Man, just as competent as the next. Me and you could do a better job of making decisions than that. I mean, no way that man should be in Dallas, but whatever.
Hey man, I offer my services up. I don't know if I coach for Dallas, but if I get in the NFL, then if they offer me a defensive coordinator position, and it happens to be for the Cowboys, I don't know. I might gotta flip a coin, man.
They pay you millions, you take it.
You ain't lying, bro. You ain't lying. I probably would have to. But when we play Washington football team, I'm like, I got the stomach flu. I can't coach today. But the next 4 games, after that they have the bye week, which is week 9. Then they have the rematch versus Tampa Bay at FedEx Field against the Super Bowl champions that had some assistance in that wild card game that they shouldn't have received.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's definitely I think the Washington football team is gonna have a point to prove that game. I think Mr. Brady might end up on his back a few times that game. Then you have the 21st. They're going to Arizona for the Cardinals, a 1:00 game. Seattle the week after that on the 29th for a Monday Night Football game. So 2 primetime games for the Washington football team this year. Monday Night Football. I used to be weary of these games, but when you have a competent coach that knows how to game plan and strategize and make adjustments and get his players ready for a primetime game, I really don't have that concern anymore. So it feels good to feel that way. We haven't had that feeling in a long time. Then at the Las Vegas Raiders. Funny saying that, man. The Las Vegas Raiders.
I love that stadium. That whole look is amazing.
Yeah, Las Vegas has done some good things with their sporting teams, with the hockey team being out there, the Golden Knights, we're known for their, great entertainment value at the stadium and all the things they had going on. So I can only imagine at a football game what kind of stuff they have going on.
Gruden gonna have to produce though.
I said that I didn't think that he would last his whole 10 years on the contract. They've been playing better than I expected. He's actually, with the GM or whoever's drafted, I can't give him credit for that. Have actually drafted some talent and, made some solid moves. So, I know my disdain for all things named Gruden, but I'm surprised at where they are right now, honestly.
Yeah.
But are those 4 games here, Tampa? Like I said, I think the Washington football team is going to have a point to prove that they, you know, if the thing would have got called the way it's would have got called, Tampa would have never had a chance to win the Super Bowl because they were getting put out by the Washington football team in the first round of the playoffs. At Carolina, you know, I think that's just going to be another statement game for a coach. You know, go down there and, you know, put it on them one good time just to say, you know, how you like me now. And Seattle Monday Night Football, you know, versus Mr. Wilson. You know what you're going to get out of him. DK Metcalf, they always have quality defense. That's going to be an interesting game on Monday Night Football. And then at the Raiders, yeah, I'm hoping they don't party too much and they go out there and handle business and beat the Raiders because, you know, Vegas can get some folks in trouble, man.
Yeah, I think it's a good set. It's going to be a fun set of games. I like the Tampa game. You know, they had a really good one last year. I expect some of the same, and I think there's going to be some sour taste that they're going to carry over and bring into this game. Be a little bit more physical. Carolina, obviously for obvious reasons, but I think it'll be a nice a game. I'm not sure where they measure up. It's going to be interesting to see how they come together, but should be a fun game. Seattle is always fun. The good thing is it's in Washington and they don't have to go to Seattle. But that should be a fun game. And Raiders, of course, I mean, just for stadium purposes alone, I think it's going to be fun. But it'll be really interesting to see where the team is. You know, they got some games on the schedule, some get back games that they'd like to, you know, right some wrongs from last year. You know, obviously you got a couple of games that you haven't, you know, teams you haven't really done well against, you know, in certain situations over the last couple of years. It'll be fun. It's going to be fun set of games there. It's really nice schedule up to this point.
Yeah, it's a tough schedule, man. That first place schedule ain't no joke. That's why winning the division is cool, but if you don't win it all, you're like, damn, next season I got to go up against all the division winners and the Super Bowl champion. I'm like, shit, it's going to be a rough year. But with the way the football team is at right now, I'm not too concerned. And the final 5 games of the 2021 season have the Cowboys coming to FedEx Field at 1 o'clock. I had this for a TBT. I don't know if they already decided on the game date because they had either the 18th or the 19th. I forgot to double check. You know, I was at work.
Right.
Pardon me. Oh, it's still saying the 18th and 19th. They haven't changed that.
Yeah, it's still staying that.
Okay.
18th, 19th for the Eagles.
Okay, so I'm not behind. Okay, so I'm current. Cool. Then right after they play the Cowboys and then go to Philly, they'll be at Dallas for a Sunday night football game the day after Christmas. Then on the 2nd of January, they have Philly coming to town. And then the last game of the season on the 9th of January will be at New York, which possibly, you know, it's always the last couple of weeks of the season to determine the division winner in the NFC East unless somebody just runs away with it, which, you know, I'm hoping the Washington football team can do. But, you know, those Giants, you've heard me say it over and over again. A lot of folks hate the Cowboys. I hate the Giants more than anything else because no matter how bad their team is, they find a way to split with us or find a way to sweep. They could be on a 10-game losing streak, and then they'll find a way to beat Washington. And that shit just boggles my mind. But Dallas coming to town. It's going to be interesting to see what their team is doing. You know, I'm always going to say that should be a win. At Philly, Philly is what Philly is right now. Have some new things in place, new quarterback, new coach, but still rebuilding. So I think Washington should be good in that game. Then to go to Dallas the day after Christmas, you know, that's always going to be an interesting game, especially between those teams that hate each other. Starting to see that come back a little bit too, some of the rivalry of the Dallas versus Washington. Starting to, you know, some of these young guys that, you know, young local guys or guys that's seen the rivalry that follow, you know, Sean Taylor and the teams before that and seeing, you know, some of the things he did against the Cowboys. That I think that rivalry coming back. But do you remember that game that Sean Taylor terrorized Terrell Owens? I think it was Monday Night Football, or it was,
yes.
It was even Thanksgiving. I've been trying to find that footage somewhere. I got to find that footage because he vowed to terrorize that man on the field. All legal hits. But that was one of the most epic performances by a defensive player to basically take someone out of the game just by being all over him and saying, "I'm going to beat you no matter what you do. You touch the ball, I'm rocking. I'm rocking your world." And yeah, I miss seeing things that we're not going to see that again because these rules not going to allow it. But yeah, that was. If you haven't checked that out, go Google it. I'm trying to find it if it's on YouTube or something, but I got to find that footage. But that's going to be a classic game. But the NFC East, even though they sucked last year, division wise with the records and everything, but it was still good games. I can understand if it was like ugly games and lopsided for 54-23 or something like that, but they all came down to the wire because these teams are all evenly matched. They know each other pretty well, and it's going to be who separates themselves from the pack. And I think Washington has made a strong push this offseason to make that happen. What about you, the new Dujunne, in the last 5 games?
And this is where your meat and potatoes are. It's 5 division games, and how important they are is really going to depend on how well you do in the first, couple quarters of the season. But this is probably the final quarter of the season, and it's an important one. You know, right now, I think everybody looks at Dallas as being something formidable. It's really all going to depend on how things come together. I know that they got some pieces for their defense, but I mean, how many times have we looked at teams that just have starters on the field? How's the whole package gonna lay out? There's still some questions there on the back end. Will this offense come together and the offensive line all of a sudden start to work? It hasn't worked in 2 years very well. And in the second last year, you find Dak getting hurt. It's going to be interesting though. It's a divisional game. You got two times you play these teams in 4 weeks. It's crazy. And then you end the final one, which could be a game to decide. It's really going to be tough, as we know, it's a toss-up in this division. I think Washington, in my opinion, is the front runners of this, but it's going to be a fun 5 weeks if things are tight and it comes down to a division race. This is going to be super important for all teams involved, and for Washington, this is going to be something special and something that they'll really need to start, kind of have already gotten into a groove coming into this stretch, because it's going to be important for everyone involved, and especially at least 2 teams out of that 5 games, it'll be important for.
Yeah, I like the way they got all the division games at the end of the season. Makes it interesting. I remember they did that a couple of seasons ago where they had all the division games set up for the end of the season, so they actually meant something, and you didn't have all these lopsided, are they going to sit their players, or they're already in the playoffs, so do they need to start this guy or what? So I love the way that they have it set up like that, with the at the end of the season having all the division games all lined up like that. But it's definitely going to be an interesting season. I know we've said that about 1,000 times, but it's been a long time since we've had something to be optimistic about with this team going into the following season. There hasn't been any off-season distractions, besides the report that came out from the stuff from last season and the fine and Dan Snyder's wife taking over control of the team while he's so-called suspended or whatever. I'm not even going to get into all that conspiracy stuff, because that's a whole nother show right there. But I'm not even going to touch it, dude. Now I'm going to leave it alone. But other than that, I mean, there's been no distractions. It's been all about football, all about the team getting better, development, building chemistry, the OTAs. And I think that's what's going to be the most vital part of the season, that they're actually able to do training camp and have preseason games. Because last year they didn't have that. And having a new coach changing over and, new offense, new defensive coordinator, not having that time to gel as a team or to, get everything on the field to see how it works before the regular season starts. You remember those first 4 games after they beat the Eagles first week? Those next 3 were trash because that was like their preseason games. And once they got those games out the way, you saw the momentum starting to build, and they made it run for the division title. So I think the fact that they're going to have training camp and preseason games is going to immensely help this team and help them get off to a faster start with this first 4 games against quality opponents. And Atlanta. I'm not trying to talk bad on that. They were good for a while, but like we say, definitely Washington should beat their team. So I'm looking for a good start to the season and be able to talk some trash to some of these other folks that's been hating on the Washington football team for a long time now. And they had just reason, though. Don't tell me. No, I'm not saying that they didn't have a reason to, because this team wasn't looking pretty good. But the fact the way this team is now, and just the second season under Coach Rivera, I can't wait to see where things go, and say if we can get him for 10, 12 years of him producing and constantly getting better and building a roster and building a true franchise and foundation for a team to be good for a while and not just, win the Super Bowl and then never be heard from again for another 10, 15 years, to build something that's going to, continue to be good. And, you have those runs, every year to the NFC Championship game trying to get to the Super Bowl instead of once they're in the blue moon. So I'm liking where it is. You got a lot of fans that's angry, mad, that can't let go of the past and don't see the writing on the wall. You'll see it soon enough. DujunneaB, how do you feel? What's your wrap up before we get ready to get out of here? Said I want to try to be an hour and a half, and we right just about there. What you got for the people, DujunneaB? What you got coming up with this NHRA season starting?
Oh man, we think they're halfway through the season. They go to Vandermeer. You check out the Not Bland show that's on Ghostcast. They talk about Vandermeer Speedway and what to expect this weekend. I'm pretty excited about that. Really excited about the Washington football team season. In a good place. And just have to wait and see, man. You know what I mean? It's like, for once, they have something, I think, for fans to be excited about. All these changes, the name and all of that. Going to have some finalization on that soon. New merchandise, all the cool Washington W's. I love it. I'm just excited for football. And, NHRA is heating up, man. It's almost this last stretch to before we get to the playoffs. And the next 6 weeks, it's 5 races in 6 weeks. So it's going to make or break some teams here. It'll be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. So it all starts Western Swing on this weekend at Vandermeer Speedway.
Guys, yeah, we didn't even mention the name stuff that they said. They announced that 2022, the Washington football team should officially have their, new name, branding, and, logo and everything trademarked. So, like I told you before, I'm good with Washington football team. Whatever it is, I'm still thinking it's going to be Red Wolves. Some of the folks close to the, that I talked to said it is looking like Red Wolves, but I'm good with Washington football team. I had the conversation with somebody earlier. It was like, I wish they would just hurry up and get it done. Oh, I really don't have an issue with the name Washington football team. What about you, dude?
I've said it before. I wish they would keep it. I like the football club or football team the way it is. I'm totally okay with it. It's unique. It's something different. It's something like, they do in soccer. I would keep the football team, but I do think now, especially you start, you hear Jason talking about, not, having any Indian connotation or anything like that, or Native American connotation. Well, I think Red Wolves kind of puts it there. I think that has the most pop. It resonates with the fans, and it's easy to kind of swoop in to use for your fight song. So I could see that. But I do like football team. I think it's I don't know. It's just tough. It's gritty. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's simple. Just football team. It's cool.
Yeah, it's simple. Washington football team. How can you?
We call them Washington all the time anyway. So what's the difference?
I don't know.
Be perfect.
I don't know. It is what it is. But as always, man, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you got a busy schedule and everything. So as always, good stuff, great show. Appreciate as always. You can always check out our podcast partners button on sportsothp.com. You'll see DujunneaB up there. Click on the link to get a link to all of his shows. I believe his articles and everything that he does in the sports world. Be on the lookout. We making moves. We not these mainstream guys that know somebody, the reason why they on there. We're on the air because we know what we're talking about and we love what we do. So, I've been taking some shots. I've been shopping my stuff around to some of these local, mainstream folks. And, I'm starting to get a little feel that they don't want me on the air, man. They don't want the realness out there. Actually, people that know sports nowadays, they want that clickbait anonymous source is going to get people to tune in. Where they don't understand real sports coverage gets people to tune in.
What did Kwame say? Go along, get along, gang. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. But I'm going to get out of here. Make sure you tune in Monday nights for Sports OTHP. As always, we'll be talking some Nationals, and we'll be probably talking a little bit of football because the NHL season. Then we'll be recapping the NBA Finals also. I forgot they're still going on. It was a good game last night. Unfortunately, I fell asleep. I was trying to watch basketball. I'm not a basketball guy. I was trying to watch DujunneaB. I was trying to broaden my horizons, and I still fell asleep.
Got to.
Yeah, man.
It's good, man. It's good. I mean, this is probably one of the better playoffs we've had in a long time. And these two teams, the newness, Suns haven't been there in a long time. And then you look at a team that hasn't gotten it. I mean, as a storybook, NBA should be happy about this. I know people want mainstream, I'm a Lakers fan. I'd like to see the Lakers win all the time, but as a basketball fan, I think fans should be super excited at what they're seeing right now. And what we thought, I was ready to bring out the brooms, but the Bucks have bucked their way back.
Yeah, I saw they had tied it up. When I was watching, I believe Phoenix was up. And I saw they took the lead in the third quarter, and then after that, I don't remember what happened. But I woke up and saw they made it a game. So it is
still
entertaining.
Saying Suns in 6, or Suns are winning regardless. I'm still taking the Suns. I don't care.
Suns in 6.
I'm sticking with my pick. Period.
Yeah, I like that. I like what I saw. They played some good ball. Like I said, I'm an old school fundamental guy, but. It was what I was watching was interesting. It was on the second TV. It wasn't on the first TV. So I had it on. I didn't have the sound on. I had it on the TV on the side, and I was watching something else. But when I was watching, it was interesting. Wasn't nothing else. I think wasn't nothing else on really. So I think the All-Star game. So
right.
I was like,
I'm ready to get back. I'm ready to get to WNBA as well, man. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, we were supposed to cover
so
WNBA.
Bound up, but there's a lot of good things going on over there.
Yeah, we were supposed to cover it on Monday night show. I still haven't because we got credentials for them still, and I haven't been able to get down there to get any close footage of the games and everything. So, like I said, we working on some things, man. Bear with us. We'll have back our full coverage like we always do, WNBA. I'm gonna try to see if I can get it covered on this upcoming Monday night show, and then tune in for next Thursday night where we'll have Paul, the boxing guy, and we'll have a remembrance episode of our old Thursday night boxing and MMA show because we've had a lot of stuff going on in the boxing world and we have some good fights coming up. So we're going to have that show either at 8 or 9 o'clock, depending on his army of kids let him get away and don't have him tied up in the basement or something. I don't know. We were trying to get him on tonight, but the army took over and he texted me. It was kind of jumbled. I don't know if they was tying him up at the time, but he basically said he couldn't come on tonight. So we're going to reschedule that for next Thursday night. 8/9 o'clock, and we're going to talk boxing and some inside nuggets about some of the Washington football team players because we know Paul is our connect down in Charlotte where Von Bavera was, so he was the one that gave us the insight when they brought on Bavera about how things roll with him. But he also, I'm going to go ahead and give it away this week, so we're going to talk about it next week. DujunneaB Brown, who Paul Smith, Paul the Boxing, a.k.a. Paul the Boxing guy, was saying this team needs the draft because he is a dynamic player, not just because he's in North Carolina, where Paul is at, but because he actually lives in the same neighborhood with Paul. Paul's nephew actually played ball with DujunneaB Brown. So we're going to have some inside scoops on one of the, watch the football team play. So make sure y'all tune in to next Thursday night for boxing and a little bit of Washington football insight that you won't get anywhere else. And make sure you keep tuning in. Go check out the website, sportsothp.com. Got to give a shout out to one of our partners, Eric Kusa, who helps produce the Sports OTHP apparel, one of the other varieties that we have of our logo. You can also go check out sportsothp.com. Click on the merchandise link. You can go to our website. We also have backdrops. We also have handbags. We got iPhone covers, man. We got everything. This helps support the movement because without you guys, there's no reason for us to do this. And you guys been following us for over 5 years now. So appreciate the love and support. Appreciate y'all showing the love and constantly tuning in. And as always, as I end the show, one of our other artists affiliated with our network, Renegade 703, who will be performing down in Miami next weekend. I was supposed to go, but it's another story. He'll be performing down live. He was down there last month, and he killed it so hard they want him to come down again. So I'm gonna play a couple of his videos from At the Bar Radio, which I'm on Sunday nights at 6 o'clock. Make sure you tune in. And we cut up a little bit. It's called At the Bar Radio, so what do you expect? So we talk sports, politics, current events, entertainment news, and independent music as always. So if you got some hot tracks or something that you want to share with the world and trying to find a way to get out there, hit me up. We put you on. We're going to critique your music, so if you got thin skin, don't do it. We don't want to hurt your feelings, but we're going to be real. So make sure you tune in because we do a lot of good things. We talk a lot of good subjects. And, hey, that's what we do. But I'm about to get out of here with Renegade 703. And I'll holler at y'all on Monday night. Because as always, DC sports are the politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. And we out.
Surprise, this is homicide. We just multiply. We been on the rise. If we got some wings, fuck it, we gon' have to fly. Money, 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 what you talking about?
me to a place where everybody learns, where everybody sees, where everybody shows their love. I didn't think so. You know, that's why I always champagne for you or me. I really didn't think so. I take a promise, I give it some love, I make a wish upon a star. You know you gotta get it right. You know you gotta get it right. Every little thing counts now. Every little bitty thing. Can you hear me? I am calling now out your name, and now I know, and I'm here, and you know it. It's all just the same, and I know it's gonna be disco. It'd be so cool just to celebrate all the love and all the hate that's going down.